Hey guys, welcome to the 6th part of What If Tanjiro Could Use Hamon. Last time we left off after the start of the Infinity Castle arc and all the demon slayers being forced into the castle. With everyone caught up, let's begin. After being flung into the castle, Tanjiro is sent falling towards the ground, however he is caught by Tomioka. Noticing that the castle is a blood demon art, Tanjiro attempts to use Hamon to destroy the fortress. However, he is stopped by Tomioka, who explains that they don't know their surroundings, so it would be best not to destroy anything yet. They are then attacked by multiple lower moon level demons, however the duo easily dispatches of them. With Tomioka switching to a complementary breathing form as to not interfere with Tanjiro's attacks. Elsewhere in the fortress, Shinobu came face to face with Upper Moon 2, devouring multiple females. The demon smiles and takes off his crown, introducing himself as Dama and greeting that it was a nice night. Shinobu recalls her sister's words that the demon would laugh in a carefree manner and would talk softly. One of Dama's victims reaches out desperately for help, only to be told by Dama to be quiet as he was in the middle of talking. Shinobu carries her away from Dama and sweetly asks whether she's alright, to which Dama asks whether she was a Hashira due to her speed. Just as the victim attempts to reply to Shinobu, she is murdered by Dama's attacks. Dama smiles and tells her to leave the body there, stating that he will eat it later. Shinobu remembers what her sister had stated, the demon's weapons were a pair of sharp fans. Dama explains that he was the leader of the Eternal Paradise faith, claiming that it was his duty to be happy with himself and his followers. Shinobu tells Dama disgustedly that the girl he had killed earlier was clearly in pain and begging for help. To this, he responds that he had saved the girl, claiming that she no longer feels pain, suffering, or fear. Dama then goes on to say that everyone fears death, which is why he eats his followers for their sake so they can live forever with him. He claims that he takes his followers' hopes, blood, and flesh to heart and leading them to higher salvation. Shinobu angrily spits that he couldn't possibly be sane and asks whether he is alright in his head, telling him that it makes her want to vomit. Dama gives a surprised expression, noting that she's rather harsh for a first meet. He then realizes that Shinobu must have been through something difficult, pitying her and suggesting he listen to what she has to say about it. Shinobu angrily clutches her haori and growls that Dama was the one who had killed her sister, fiercely demanding if he has no memories of the haori. Dama then recalls Kani as the girl who used the flower breathing, stating his regrets over not being able to eat her before sunrise. Shinobu cuts him off with a strike to his eye with her insect breathing, dance of the bee sting, true flutter. Dama compliments that it was so fast he couldn't prevent it with his hand. Dama unleashes his blood demon art, Frozen Lotus. Shinobu backflips and dodges, however inhales the ice powder that he had scattered. Dama compliments that she was fast, however, states that she couldn't kill a demon with stabs, and the dismemberment of the neck was the best option. To this, Shinobu responds that if a stab wound didn't kill him, poison would, just as the wisteria poison goes into effect. He falls to the floor and hacks up blood, telling Shinobu that this poison was much stronger than the one she used in Mount Natagumo. Saying that Muzan has warned him that she changes her poison for every demon. Dama quickly breaks down the poison, widely grinning as he apologizes that he had broken down the poison even though she had gone the effort to use it on him. He comments that Shinobu's katana made a distinctive sound whenever she sheaths it. He wonders aloud if that's how she changes the concentration of the poison. He clasps his hands together and joyfully exclaims how it was fun and interesting to get poisoned, and how it may become a habit. He asks Shinobu whether she thinks the next poison formulation would work, excitedly asking for her to try it. Dama notices a fifth slash on his hand and heals himself of Shinobu's poison, asking if she is okay for breathing heavily. Shinobu realizes the true strength of an upper rank, noting Dama's resistance and inability of poisons to work on him. Dama notes Shinobu's lungs must be destroyed, having taken a blow of his blood demon technique. She realizes the fog of his frozen blood is hazardous if breathed in and decide to use multiple blows to poison him again. Using her insect breathing, Dance of the Dragonfly, compound I hexagon, Shinobu rushes forward and stabs Dama multiple times. Dama states he believes the insect Hashira might be the fastest one. But as she backs away, Shinobu bleeds profusely, realizes she herself was also hit in return. Dama taunts her, mentioning that she could have easily cut off his head with her immense speed but can't due to her small frame. As blood falls on her hands, she sees how small they are. She remembers she never grew any taller. She laments she could have killed demons the usual way had she grown more. Kani's spirit suddenly appears before the injured Shinobu, telling her to stand. Shinobu believes she can no longer, heavily bleeding and with her left lung shredded by Dama's fog, she can't breathe normally as well. Kani declares that irrelevant and states she will win with the right resolve to kill him, no matter the sacrifice, noting she promised to her and to Kaneo. Remembering their younger sister, Shinobu crouches down while Dama approaches her, noting the slash he gave was only half-hearted but must be painful for her. Kani urges her younger sister to keep trying, causing her to stand and shocking the upper moon. As she stares at Dama, Shinobu starts to cough blood, prompting Dama to laugh that the blood in her lungs is causing her to do so. Resolving to end her pain, he tells her to give up, saying she is already beyond saving. Shinobu takes a stance and using insect breathing, Dance of the Centipede, 100-legged zigzag, she speeds towards the upper rank. Dama becomes shocked at this feat, noting the destroyed bridge from the impact of her feet's force. Dama tries to slash her back but is too slow, only manage to hit her haori. Shinobu crouches down and launches into the air, driving her sword through Dama's neck and forcing his body into the ceiling in one final thrust. Her sword slips from Dama's neck, causing her to fall. Dama however uses his ice to catch her and pull Shinobu into a hug. The demon tearfully congratulates her for making it thus far, while mocking her for being weak and less talented than Kani, to her fury. Dama acknowledges her foolishness at trying to kill him despite all the odds and calls it the thing that make humans so fleeting. As he decides she is finally worthy of being eaten by him, Dama asks for her final words. Shinobu only responds, "Go to hell." Kaneo opens the door to the cult room and looks up to see Dama clutching her in the roof. As she watches, Dama breaks Shinobu's body in his arms, to Kaneo's horror, killing her and causing her sword to fall from her hand. Kaneo desperately leaps upwards to use flower breathing, fourth form, Crimson Hanagromo but misses when Dama escapes and lands onto the floor. The demon advises her not to attack him in the middle of absorbing someone, causing Kaneo to seethe with rage. Dama fails to taunt her and instead fondly recalls that Shinobu had only a short time with him due to his abilities, and decides that this night might be really good. Having two gorgeous meals at once, all while licking Shinobu's hairpin. Meanwhile Zenitsu approaches a room and calls for the being inside to come out. They only respond that Zenitsu's beckoning is the improper address to a senior. Kigaku walks out and taunts him for being as dainty and seedy as ever. Zenitsu responds back that as a demon, Kigaku is no longer his senior. The two then talk to each other about the past and Zenitsu yells about how Grandpa killed himself because of his betrayal of the core. However Kigaku doesn't care and blames it on Zenitsu and the old man. The duo would then clash, with Zenitsu managing to graze the replacement Upper Moon 6's neck, impressing Kigaku slightly. They would then clash once again, trading blows with Zenitsu doing slightly better than usual because despite not being compatible with Hamon. The training did increase his lung capacity and therefore increased his skill with thunder breathing. Despite being stronger, Kigaku still manages to hit Zenitsu, burning him with his blood demon incased skills, making him fall. Internally, Zenitsu apologizes to Jigoro and Kigaku, as he lands on the wall and stops his fall. While a confused Kigaku looks on, Zenitsu uses the thunder-breathing, 7th form, on Oikazuchi no Kami and speeds upwards, decapitating Kigaku. As the upper-rank demon becomes enraged, he never saw it coming. He curses his former master for teaching Zenitsu something he never knew and playing favorites. Zenitsu replies Jigoro was never such a person, he created this form for the day he would fight alongside him. After Zenitsu beheads Kigaku by performing the thunder-breathing, 7th form, on Oikazuchi no Kami, both fall in the Infinity Castle to their deaths. Zenitsu plummets unconsciously as the disintegrating Kigaku grows furious at his defeat from Zenitsu's hands. He comforts himself with the idea that Zenitsu will die with him when they hit the floor until Yoshio comes to save Zenitsu. While coldly reminding Kigaku that without friends he will end with nothing since he gave nothing to anyone, finally commenting that dying alone sure is pathetic. Hearing this, Kigaku only screams in frustration as Zenitsu is saved and he meets a lonely pathetic death. Yoshio then heals Zenitsu while the other slayers who don't know his identity fight the ensuing demons. However, Yoshio grows frustrated at the slayers' inability to behead the attacking demons and places Zenitsu to safety to assist. Meanwhile, Tanjiro and Jiryu are continuing to run through the castle, Tanjiro wondering on Musen's whereabouts and the location of everyone else. Suddenly a powerful tremor strikes, shaking the area and worrying the two water breathers. As Tanjiro wonders if it is a fight, or someone's death, the tremor gets closer and stronger. Jiryu tells Tanjiro to stay back as the source of the tremor punches through the ceiling, revealed to be Akaza. Akaza tells the demon slayer, "Long time no see. I'm surprised a weakling like you is still alive." Tanjiro Kamado, causing Tanjiro to yell his opponent's name back. Akaza would then go in for a punch to end the fight before it even started. However, Tanjiro would jump over the attacks using fire wheel infused with Hamon to slice of Akaza's arm, preventing it from regenerating. However, Akaza punched away the infected area, regenerating his lost limb, then going in for a second punch attempting to cleave of his head before Tanjiro could go on the offensive again. However, Tanjiro used fake rainbow to avoid the attack, jumping over Akaza, cutting his face. However, the cut was too shallow to spread Hamon through, so was fatal to Akaza, but still wouldn't regenerate until Akaza squeezed the cut shut. Seeing this, Tomoyoka would note that Tanjiro's fighting techniques are on the level of a Hashira, while remembering how much Tanjiro has improved since they first met. At the same time, Akaza would remember Rengoku's telling him not to insult Tanjiro as he wasn't weak, with Akaza finally agreeing with him. Deciding to show Tanjiro his respect by using his technique deployment, Destructive Death Compass Needle. At this point, Tomoyoka would join in on the fight using water-breathing 3rd form Flowing Dance, to counter the attack. Seeing this, Akaza would also complement Tomoyoka's strength, using Destructive Kill War style, which Tomoyoka blocked with water-breathing 11th form Dead Calm. Seeing a potential opening, Tanjiro would swing at Akaza with sun-breathing 3rd form Raging Sun. However, Akaza would easily dodge, leaving Tanjiro's field of vision. Reappearing behind Tanjiro with his hand to his neck, but luckily before it could land, Tomoyoka would use Water Wheel to cut Akaza's arm off, saving Tanjiro. Tanjiro would then attempt to limit Akaza's movement using sun-breathing 12th form Flame Dance. However, Akaza would counter before the attack could land using Destructive Kill Leg form Cap-Tip Slice to kick Tanjiro in the chin. However, Tanjiro manages to block most of the damage with his sword, but was still grazed, causing blood spill from his nose. Tomoyoka would then divert the danger from Tanjiro, attacking Akaza, gaining the respect of Akaza, who complimented his swordsmanship and asked for Tomoyoka's name. However, Tomoyoka refused to tell him. So Akaza would use destructive leg form flowing light slash to kick Tomioka through multiple walls of the Infinity Castle. Akaza would then shift his focus back onto Tanjiro as Tanjiro would shout out Tomioka's name. Tanjiro would then use Burning Bones Summer Sun while Akaza would use Destructive Kill Dual Layered Demon Kick, with their attacks clashing, pushing Tanjiro back, creating a little distance between the two. Akaza would then praise Tanjiro's improvement again, mentioning how weak he was in their first fight and then stating that he is happy Rengoku died that night since he probably wouldn't have been able to improve anymore since their fight. This enrages Tanjiro, who snaps back for Akaza to shut his mouth and not to talk about Rengoku. Slightly confused, Akaza would state that he was praising them, however Tanjiro would shout that he was insulting Rengoku and spat on the face of anyone he faces. Akaza would then try to clear the misunderstanding, saying that he only hates weaklings and would only spit on their faces, since all the laws of nature goes against their existence and survival. Tanjiro would then explain how Akaza is wrong and was once a weak baby who needed protection at one point, even if he doesn't remember it. Then shouting that the strong protect the weak and then the weak become strong and protect the weaker, that's the law of nature, yelling that his way of thinking is unforgivable. Getting ready to fight again. Meanwhile Akaza would get an unpleasant feeling as he would see a martial artist in white talking to him, so he would attempt to hit him, however his attack didn't land since it was all in his head. Akaza would then leap at Tanjiro with destructive kill crush style Willow of Thousand Sun slashes, however Tanjiro manages to jump back just in time to avoid the attack, which shredded the floor. Before Tanjiro could react, Akaza would use destructive kill leg style Ring of Thousand Planets to kick Tanjiro into the air, causing him to spit blood, even though he barely managed to intercept the attack. While trying to deduce how Akaza's blood demon art targeted his organs so precisely, he would use sun-breathing sixth form solar heat haze to graze Akaza's neck, however once again it was too shallow to pass Hamon through. As the fight continued, Tanjiro attempted to use the 12th form flame dance to slice Akaza in half, however Akaza caught the blade attempting to snap it in half. However the Hamon flowing through it caused Akaza's hands to start to disintegrate, so he had to let go, however he couldn't fully before getting a Scarlet Overdrive headbutt to the head, destroying his brain, which would take at least a minute to recover since it was caused by Hamon. Akaza would then be forced to block multiple attacks from the silently angry Tomioka, who had just returned and awakened his mark, greatly increasing his strength and speed. However Akaza was no pushover and managed to match Tomioka's increased capabilities. Realizing that if they don't find Akaza's weakness soon, Tomioka will tire out before Akaza does, since Akaza has infinite demon stamina, Tanjiro would think back on everything Akaza has said. Realizing Akaza might use fighting spirits like he uses smell. Then remembering a conversation with Inosuke about how he can sense an attack coming as long as they have killing intent, so Tanjiro wonders whether attacking with no killing intent would work against Akaza. Tanjiro would then use flame walls to attempt to behead Akaza, however Akaza easily sensed the attack, catching Tanjiro's blade with his hand, allowing it to start to disintegrate as he attacked Tanjiro's wide open flank. However Tanjiro managed to enter the transparent world, increasing his speed, allowing him to rotate his body in his air just enough to dodge, receiving a cut on his abdomen from the attack. While Tanjiro was trying to re-enter the transparent world and close off his fighting spirit, Akaza managed to remember and counter all of Tomioka's water-breathing forms, predicting his next attack, punching the blade on the side, breaking it mid-swing. Just before Akaza could punch Tomioka in the chest, Tanjiro sliced off Akaza's arm, saving him. Realizing that something about Tanjiro had changed, every cell in his body told him to kill Tanjiro right now. Akaza would then use technique deployment end style chaotic blue metal afterglow. Tomioka would attempt to absorb and block all the damage using the 11th form Dead Calm, however Akaza's attack would overpower it, landing multiple attacks on the water Hashira. Looking at the water Hashira on the ground and unable to move, Akaza would tell Tomioka not to die like Rengoku and Tanjiro, and become a demon, thinking that Tanjiro was dead. However, Tomioka would realize that Tanjiro was behind him and had no presence, and would hope for Tanjiro to go for the head while he was undetected. Despite Tomioka's pleas, Tanjiro would give away his location, yelling that he is going to decapitate Akaza, using fake rainbow to avoid an otherwise fatal attack. Akaza would question how Tanjiro would still be alive. However, would reassure himself that since Tanjiro is now stronger, he will have a stronger fighting spirit, so would be easier to detect with his compass detection, but would realize Tanjiro's fighting spirit was gone. Akaza would then attempt to prepare for the next attack, however he wasn't fast enough and Tanjiro beheaded him with a Hamon-infused sun-breathing 5th form setting sun transformation. Realizing Tanjiro had reached the supreme state, the state of Anata, Akaza would try to reattach his crumbling head, however it crumbled to pieces as he touched it and spread the Hamon to his hands. Not wanting to die, Akaza would try to evolve and overcome death by beheading. Actually managing to, however the Hamon spreading through his body had already reached his legs, so he would attempt to take Tanjiro with him. Landing one last kick on the severely winded and unable to move Tanjiro, kicking him into a wall. As he was crumbling, he would remember his past life and wife and would stop resisting, no longer having a reason to get stronger, disintegrating to ash. Okay guys, this is the end of this part. Once again sorry for it taking so long to release this video. I failed chemistry, so had to bury my head in books, however I had some more time since it's the summer holidays now, so should be able to upload a few more videos. If you enjoyed, please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, as it will really help push my content in the YouTube algorithm. Thanks for watching. This is Demon X Saiyan saying peace.